Welcome to another episode of How to ABX. It is silent season, and today is 9/13/2023. Today is actually Speed Hero Day. So let's talk about this and show you how it works in action. Luna Snow with a Rage. She works with a Judgment and an Anger proc. Pretty much is the meta for today, unquestionably. The rotation is pretty simple. You just do 5, 4, 3. You're going to delay 3 until she points at the sky. You want the ice to drop. So just kind of a fraction of a second. And then 2, 1, and 6 are all pretty much instant cancels. So you're going to spam with everything but 3. Just wait till she points with 3. Let me go ahead and show you that in action. And if you want to stick around, I'll give you additional information afterwards. So switching right to Luna, I'm going to do a 5, 4, 3, point, 1, 2. Just hit those skills as soon as possible. The more you can get them to cool down, the better. Use your 7 and your 6 as soon as you see them that they're ready. Doesn't matter what part in the rotation it is. Just try to keep your 5, 4, and 3 together. You can cancel with your 4, just be aware of the cooldown timer on 4, because you got to pay attention to those roars. So look, 7-second cooldown timer. So when he jumps center 209, you want to make sure that you have 7 seconds before that. So right around, I would say 208. I'm sorry, 208. Wrong direction, 216 roughly. So right here, 216, I probably don't want to use my 4 again just to make sure it's on cooldown. So I'm going to use a 5-3 here, and I'm going to wait for him to jump center. There he is. As soon as he is targetable, go ahead and pop your 4. Spam the rest of your skills. You get your cancel off there. That's why it's important to pay attention to your cooldown timers on the skills you're using to cancel. Right here, we have them back together, 5, 4, and 3, so we're in good shape. Next roar should be at 126. As with any of the roars, it is possible to delay a roar. That's basically hitting the beast with some sort of a stun right around the combo time or right around the roar time. This will cause the beast to slightly delay on some of those roars. But with 126, again, just got to do the math, so I don't know if I can do math that quick. So yeah, anyway, right now I just want to save my 4 again. I am going to continue to attack with everything else. It's not worth storing them up, in my opinion. As soon as he's turned and he's targetable, go ahead and use it right away. You will get back onto your rotation pretty quick. Here we go. 5, 4, 7, 3, 2, 1. Move around as soon as they're 2, 1. As soon as they're ready. Don't wait. All right. Last roar is at 38 seconds. Looks like I got stunned there. I was trying to pop off my moves, but I got stunned there. So yeah, with it being at 40, I probably have time actually. Let's experiment. See how he's still about to slam the ground there? So there's a little bit of time in the delay. Sometimes you got to play it by ear. You can play it safe and not use it early just to make sure you can get that cancel off, because canceling is critical to score as high as possible today. All right, last 23 seconds, and then we'll talk about teams, who I'm using, why, how my account's built. You should know the basic general idea of what I do in these videos by now if you've been watching for a while. If you haven't, you're missing out. Check them all out. I try to do every day, every season. That's my goal, and maybe we'll update them if we keep getting enough views. This is actually a really, really, really nice score. I have to say, 15 million is about what I score with my Magneto, and I actually could probably score more if I had one thing better, which we'll talk about in the build here in a second. Let me go ahead and write down my score. I like to track it and see my progress. Let's see, 15,061,727. Not too shabby, not too shabby at all. Let's talk first about cards and X swords. I always like to show these because if you want to know why I'm scoring what I'm scoring, this is why. So if we go over here to cards, and I go to view all card effects, pause it if you want to. Those are my cards. Here are my X swords. Again, pause it if you want to, but that's what I'm getting from my X swords. Let's talk about the builds on my characters. So Luna Snow is a tier 4 character. She has her Summer Lilac uniform, which is a must, but if you don't have her Summer Lilac, a tier 4 light serious Luna does do really solid today too. With this uniform, I have it at Mythic. I'll quickly show those options. You can look them up online, but just to show you what they are, I'll flick through them really, really quick. All right. And then we're going to come over here to the character. As you can see here, everything is amplified. If I can get my freaking chair out of the way. Everything is amplified, and I've got a lot of Odin's Blessings on her as well. If you're going to put Urus on your character, make sure they're at least 5-star, especially for today if you're trying to push your AB scores. I'm using Black Widow as a striker. Black Widow does a fantastic job with her area of attack and the damage she outputs. As a striker, she is a solid choice for today. She is not a cancel striker. She's just typically the best for ABX, it seems like. Most people have experimented around. Feel free to try other strikers. She does have the added bonus of being a tier 7 as far as like that boost that you get from using her as a striker. So that's another reason to use her today. Typically I'll use someone like Spider-Man as the striker for Luna so that I can use Black Widow elsewhere. Type enhancement, it's only at 5 right now. I've got Power of the Angry Hulk. Make sure you use attack set, all at 6-star red, so you can get the most out of that attack set. The attack set's proc. I do have videos that talk about ISO 8 sets if you want more details, but Power of the Angry Hulk, Overdrive, or Hawkeyes, any of those are fine. Artifact, I do have her Artifact, which does increase her damage. And here's the one thing that I can improve on her to make her even better. I've got a brilliant CTP of Rage, which is great, but I have the All Attack. I want to re-roll this for Enraged. Once I do, I have a feeling she's going to do much more damage. It's also only rolled at 1% basic damage instead of higher, which we can get higher with that as well. Here's the info. Overall, what I like to try to do is I try to cap out everything you see here that's yellow. Yellow means it's capped. You cannot go over. That red number is wasted stats. It does not go higher than that yellow. The yellow is the highest it can go. So that crit rate, 75, period. That's flat rate, but it is 35% over. Unfortunately, you can't go above 75. Attack never caps, so get as much attack as you can. I've got 93,000 sitting on her. I do have her with leadership. Not that I have her with leadership. She has leadership. This is important to note later. There are certain characters like White Fox that only helps characters with leadership. So if you do not have this shield and leadership, they do nothing for your character. Being a leadership character, White Fox does help her. So let's talk about the team, alternate options, and then we'll wrap up the video. So go back here to the extreme mode. I am using Wave's leadership. Is she optimal? I have gone over this with multiple people. I've talked to other creators. I've talked to other people that play that are veterans. Some people are getting mixed feelings about using Wave. Some people are seeing what I'm saying, and Wave is outscoring everyone else. However, alternate options would be Misty Knight. She gives 60% cold damage. You could use Fury, who actually does twice the amount of leadership, 50 instead of 25 for the all attack, and does 55% for the damage dealt. So all around, it doesn't math properly for Wave to be the best, but I score the most whenever I use Wave, so I've consistently used her. I recommend trying all three. If you have Misty Knight, if you have Fury, and you have Wave, try all three, see who works best for you. I would do at least 5 runs, 2 experiments, that you can narrow it down. For me, Wave has consistently scored more and typically outscores the other 2, even though there's some variance. You get this with spam characters. It's just the reality of the game. Why am I using Wave? 25% all attack for leadership. She's also giving 50% damage dealt instead of the 55 from Fury. So all of that right there is why I'm using her. You don't necessarily need a uniform. I'm using her with your uniform. Maybe it's making a difference. White Fox, 65% damage dealt to allies with leadership. This only works for allies with leadership, which we just saw as Luna. Also, if you have her Lifestyle Series 2 uniform and you go to her uniform effect, all superhero allies, which would include Luna, get all of these bonuses: 15% all attack, 10% chain hit, and 30% ignore target's dodge rate. When they dodge, they don't get hit, so that actually does play a factor, I believe. I think you can actually cap your ignore dodge if I think. Maybe I should double check that. I don't know if that overcaps. So there is an ignore dodge here, and it's only at 3%, so I'm sure that's helping her out as well. But yeah, that's the basic team up here. So alternate leaderships, as I mentioned, you could use Fury. You could use Misty Knight. A lot of people say Misty Knight is the meta. I feel like this team is the meta for today. Luna Snow you want with Summer Lilac as your main meta character. You could also use the Light Sirius, as I'd mentioned. Black Widow is a viable option. However, she is probably the least of the tier 4 speed characters that you can use today, but she is a viable option. I've been using her for quite some time until I finally built Luna Snow. Luna Snow crushes her score. So even though you can use Black Widow at tier 4, I don't recommend it. I will point out too, because I forgot earlier, your striker character being built does cause more damage, so you get a higher score. So having a tier 4 Black Widow with a rage is helping my score a little bit as well. Spider-Man is more focused at PvP. I would not use him for today. You could, but I think he actually scores even less than Black Widow. I have not really experimented with that in a while, so I'm not 100% on that. Miles, in my opinion, seems more geared towards World Boss Legendary than ABX, so I would skip out there as well. Shuri, Black Panther Shuri, has just gotten her uniform. I have not experimented yet, but I have a feeling she's pretty much just a lead/support, so I would not advise using for anything more than the leadership, the support ability. All allies getting 55%. So if you don't have White Fox, Shuri's another great option. Even without her uniform, she is a great support character, so definitely worth using her for support. Hawkeye, I would actually avoid using. You could use him if you have him at tier 3, but you have the better options like I pointed out. Gamora, with her Marvel Studios Guardians of the Galaxy 3, is a phenomenal option today with a rage. CTP of Rage is probably her best, but you could run her with an energy. She is slightly proc friendly. Her rotation is a little on the tight side, but she is definitely worthy of today. I'll rank all the characters that you can use today in a minute here. Spider-Gwen is another fantastic option. Shadow Shell really isn't that great of a character to use in anything but World Boss Legendary, in my opinion. I would not use her for ABX, but you could if you have her at tier 4. Then you have Kate Bishop Hawkeye, which I think outperforms Hawkeye on ABX in my opinion, but again, you have better options. So those are all options that I would consider for today. You could use Maya Lopez's leadership, but honestly, I would save her for PvP type stuff if you needed her or used her at all. I don't recommend her. The top leads for today, in my opinion, are going to be Wave, Fury, and Misty Knight, specifically for Luna because of the cold damage. So it's either going to be a Wave or a Fury leadership, in my opinion. You could use White Fox for leadership characters. Spider-Man actually has leadership, so he would actually get bonuses from White Fox. Or you could use Shuri. Shuri's probably one of the best supports for today. Oh yeah, quick shout out to Makari. Makari for a while there was actually pretty meta for ABX, so I should probably point her out as well. I would say the top 3 meta, in my opinion, is number 1, Luna Snow with her Summer Lilac uniform. Number 2 is going to be Gamora with her Marvel Studios Guardians of the Galaxy 3 uniform. And number 3 would probably be Spider-Gwen with her Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse uniform. The number 2 spot is debatable. I've heard a lot of people say good things about Spider-Gwen, so it's either Spider-Gwen or Gamora, and I'm not sure because I don't have either built at tier 4. I skipped both characters to go to Luna, so I'm basing this upon my own play experience and feedback that I've gotten from other veteran players. So those are the top 3 that I would consider for today. If you haven't built one of them, I would build Luna. Just remember, this is a seasonal uniform, so it is possible if you miss this, you're just not going to have to, you're not going to be able to get it until summer of next year. So you might have to go with someone else instead. And who that is between Spider-Gwen and Gamora, I don't know. I guess ask in the comments. Someone who has them built and has compared them both. I have a feeling Spider-Gwen might be better, but I've heard so many good things about Gamora, it's really hard to say. Anyway, hopefully that was at least semi-useful. Thank you for watching, and may your ABX scores be as high as possible. I'll catch you in the next one.